I'm ready, Shades.
Good, because we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to my favorite thing to do every week, which could be considered sad by some. It's a show about shows, ladies and gentlemen. I am one of your hosts, JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens, and I am joined here by my main man, my brother from another mother, ladies and gentlemen, Dutch McAllister.
Hey guys, it's not a shame to want to be with the Dutchmeister. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Hanging out with me, just talking, hanging out. That's what we do, man. That's what makes us so good at what we do. We enjoy each other's companies, and even if we make each other mad, we're only mad for like 2 seconds, and we move on down the line. So that's always.
Episode number 64. We're recording on September the 28th of 2020, and we are, as always, simply irresistible.
And is this your pose right here?
Hold on, I'm looking at you. No, it's not my pose. No.
Or hold on.
Nope. No.
As long as I've known you, I can't remember your pose.
You take your hand, you make like a Nike check mark, and then you take it and you perfectly structure your chin like this. No, it still doesn't look right. Maybe your finger. You have a long index finger.
Yeah, I can't help that. That's what do you want me to get? Okay, here. Let's shove it off here. Oh, that's longer. Hold on, here we go. No. Anyway, this is a lot of visual for people who just listen to us in a car. So let's not worry about the visual at the moment.
We're going to do it for another 45 minutes now. Take your hand. Okay. I've got a fun show for you. If you are watching visually, you'll see we're going to discuss the year 1990. Greatest year ever, some say, because it's the year this man popped out of the womb. Also, some good films of that year as well. Reviews here for you. Our Hearts May Get Broken, and maybe you'll solve a mystery or two with a NOLA. TV show, we're talking some Pen 14 sequels, Pen 15. And then we'll get some news and notes here for you. Dutch, you want to start with movies, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. This is called the Broken Hearts Club. We're just going to get in there. We're going to just muss up the heart. Lucy is a young gallery assistant who collects mementos from her past relationships. She discovers that she must let go of her past to move forward and comes up with a lovely artistic way to help herself and others who have suffered heartbreak. This has Geraldine Viswanathan. That's the best I'm going to do. Darcy Montgomery, Molly Gordon, Nikki Duvall, Bernadette Peters, and Utkarsh Ambudkar. Okay. There we go. Did we miss anybody on this cast, or is that everybody?
I mean, I went with you got the main couple. You got the ex.
Oh, okay. So that's Darcy Montgomery. Okay, I can never remember his name, so that was good.
Well, yeah, so, I'm going to skip out on the man of the rom-com. Come on.
Man!
You got the couple, the ex-boyfriend, the two sassy friends, and the boss. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, Bernadette Peters, who, honest to goodness, I thought, she has no movement in her face whatsoever, but she still has a little charm left in the tank. So
actually,
that's something.
I only included her in the cast because you seemed to pop a little bit when you saw her. Otherwise,
I was surprised that somebody put her in a movie after all these years. Especially whenever she doesn't really open her mouth, but just enough to probably fit a grape in it. So that's what I'm saying. You saw her. Very, very little, never really takes a lot of time to open her mouth when she talks. Kind of like me, Mr. Mumbler. But let's get into this movie. This film, The Broken Hearts Club, as you know, I am the residential rom-com king. Love them. This one, though, grated on me immensely during the film. I remember I turned over to you, and I said, "Look, I really do like Geraldine, but at the same time, she's not lead material." And you of course quipped with me on this, but I was like, I gave her a chance. I think she's still in the sidekick phase, and I know one day she'll graduate and prove me wrong into that, because there was no chemistry between the two leads, and to me that's very essential whenever it comes to one of these things. It's still painted by the numbers to a degree, and didn't really shock me any turns of events that did take place. But I just felt very disconnected with this film throughout. I was always searching for something. Darcy did a great job in his position. He did a great, you could tell his character as it progressed. You could look in his eyes and you could see that he was actually falling for this girl. And for some reason, when I looked at Geraldine, she never seemed to ever get that. Even when she was in love with, her ex in this film, she never showed it enough for me as well. So I don't know if it's something that she could work. She could work on this, of course, but I didn't find it, very remarkable. Again, there was a few things that were funny, but not like breakout hilariously fun. And like I said, I brought it up. It'd be nice that if they never got together in this film. It'd be the first rom-com that I didn't want to see a couple get together. So what did you think about this?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe I was just happy to be out and be with you, and we got to riff tracks it a little bit because we were by ourselves in the theater here. Nobody else out in a regular theater in the town we live in Florida. So that was fun. I was more charmed by it than you were, and I'm not going to run away with it by any means. I'm very curious, even though I'm going to be a little nicer. I bet you our scores aren't going to be too far off. I don't think we'll see. I do see what you're saying with the chemistry. I don't blame her. I think she is the lead material. I think she's perfectly fine in this. She's very charming. She's funny in this. But yeah, I do think there's something with the way it's written that, yeah, if this movie legitimately did end with them being like, yeah, maybe we're better buds, I would have bought it. I would have bought it just as much as them ending together, because there was something about I don't know, just the way it was played that it did seem like she was more focused on other things and whatnot here. So everything's fine here. The other zipped a little bit better, like, first is something like Love Guaranteed. Although this had a little bit better writing and better better plotting throughout it here. So I thought it was charming enough. It's fine. It's definitely not a rush to the theaters kind of movie here. It's never
absolutely not
super engaging, but it's cute enough for your average passable rom-com that we'll probably forget about in a couple of years.
I'm gonna be honest. This is how much I forgot about it. I can't remember the name. When somebody actually told me, "Hey, what was that movie that you just watched?" I was like, something about hearts or something, and that's about all I remember. And then I have to look it up in my notes that I have for the show, because I always keep my notes throughout the week or so. And I'm like, oh, that's the name of the movie, and that's a bad thing for me. I Love Guaranteed was well better orchestrated than this one could ever be. This one, I'm going to give it a mediocre, and again, it's a middle of the road 2.5. So 2.5 out of 5, not too bad, but it's not that great. And the half, I'm maybe because I popped for Bernadette Peters, maybe that's the reason why I gave her the half. But I also love The Roommate, the one that had the birthday, and I said, she should have been the lead. I was like, one of the roommates should have been the lead, and then they switched her out. But again, you disagree with me on that. But again, what do you give this? Because like I said, it was a forgettable one, and if you ever catch it and you watch it, you're fine. If you don't ever get it, then you're okay too.
Yeah, it's funny. I predicted exactly what was going to happen. It seems like we have different reviews, but we're going to completely agree on the score here. It's 2.5 out of 5. Very much so here. You know what I mean? It was charming enough to get through the afternoon that we saw it in, or did we saw it at night? I don't even remember.
No, we saw it in the evening. We saw it in the evening. We're the only two in the whole theater. It was brilliant because.
Yeah, I don't agree with the roommate thing at all. No, first of all, the roommate was a completely different character. That roommate you would not want to watch for 2 hours. Maybe she could act differently if she was the lead, but I don't know why you.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, what I saw in her, it wasn't the character itself. I saw the actress playing the lead more. And again, I'm not a casting director, but again, like I said, I just didn't think Geraldine was. But what I'm saying is, I didn't think that Geraldine was ready for this one yet. She's still a background, like partial lead, but not a full lead, and this was very troubling for her. I thought so. It's 2.5. It's still watchable. We both agree. At least it's 2.5.
It blames on the wrong person. Blames on the script. I think you're blaming the person for script problems.
Well, now look at this though. When I say that, I say Darcy though he emoted a lot better. I mean, you saw his emotions. You could look at his eyes and see the emotions, the love, the caring, the fondness, the annoyingness.
All he was this broken guy looking upon. Well, there was more to the other character.
Well, what I'm saying, there was more behind him. Yeah, but what I'm getting him. I thought his character grew throughout the film. You saw something different. I saw something different. We all saw something different, and that's why we love the films that we watch.
I'm pretty sure his name's not pronounced Darcy, so.
Well, you spelled the D-A-R-C-E, and that's Darcy.
No, I did not. I spelled it D-A-C-R-E.
Okay, it could be Decree then. I don't really know. He's English. Go figure. Okay, what else we got for me?
Oh, let me get there. Enola Holmes, speaking of the British, Enola Holmes, while searching for her missing mother, intrepid teen Enola uses her sleuthing skills to outsmart Big Brother Sherlock and help a runaway lord. This stars Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, Sam Calvin, Louis Patridge, Helena Bonham Carter, and Bern Gornham. Dudgy, you saw this over on the Flicks of Net. Talk to me about some Enola. Were you charmed?
Very charmed. This is a PG film, something that I think Netflix has nailed 100%. And to me, it's just the most entertaining film that I've seen in a little while. It's a great family film. If you have any even preteens, teens in the house, they'll fall for it. I enjoyed this immensely. Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill plays Sherlock, and Sam Claflin plays I cannot remember that brother, but he's also a Holmes brother, and Louis Partridge plays the Lord that is running away, and that's basically our side mystery that we have. Besides Helena Bonham Carter's left, she's abandoned Enola by herself, and that's how the Holmes boys come in, and we find a little bit more about that family. And again, the mystery is to try to find the mom, but also the mystery also happens to be about the Lord, like I said, played by Partridge. All the characters in this were just unbelievably good. I could see Henry Cavill as a future Sherlock Holmes. I'm not saying he plays in the same way as, say, a Robert Downey Jr. would, but he's more the dapper, more refined Holmes that I would like to see in the future. And like I said, Millie, is it Millie? Yeah, Millie, right? I want to call her Miley sometimes, but Millie, she is, just excellent in her delivery and in her form, and everything about this film is she just captivates you from the get-go. And she's going to be one of those promising actresses that, if just given more time, which she's got all the time in the world because she's only 16, we're going to see a great body of work, I think, over a period of time. And she knows her age limit, and that's what's great about these characters that she plays, is that she doesn't play somebody older just yet, and that's fine. She knows her market, she knows how it goes, and Netflix has put together, and along with her production company, this is her production company as well, got together, put this together, and it was a fun. I had a fun time with it. It's 2 hours long, and it doesn't feel any bit of it. And it's just a good Sherlock Holmes mystery, but set with a third person. She breaks the wall by talking to the camera a few times, and it's just a good take on a character that was written and developed through another author. And I enjoyed it immensely. I recommend it. I gave it 4 snowflakes out of 5. And it's just, like I said, it's just well worth the watch, well worth the time. If you're looking for family night at the movies, this is the movie that you should watch this year.
No, it sounds good. I've heard a couple of decent things about it here. I believe my brother and niece have seen it as well. So good to hear some good reviews here. So yeah, Nola Holmes, guys. It seems like a very positive review to go check that out over on Netflix.
Next up, we have our television shows that we want to talk about. I have one, you have one, and they're both repeating customers, meaning they have a Series 2 and a Series 8. So the first one we're talking about, though, is Pin 15. I haven't seen the second. I haven't really seen this. I don't know why. I have just dodged it, and you have jumped into it. You love it. You're in season 2 right now. Tell us, how's it going with this show? I just hear it's fabulous. I have not taken a peek at it, but I've heard it's great, and it's on my list to watch right away.
Yeah, it's funny. My entry into the show is a weird one because I'm a big Charlie Kaufman fan. Eternal Sunshine, his new movie on Netflix, which I'll have a review for next week. I saw him in an interview, and he said if he could write for a TV show, what would it be? And he actually threw this out there because it would be a unique challenge for someone like him. And I was like, all right, let's see here. My favorite writer thinks it's a good show. I might, one of my favorite writers, I might like it. So delved it in pretty much every night. I would visit 2 to 3 episodes. Got through season 1, which is only about a year old now. Season 2 just dropped in September, so it's only a week or so old. Fun stuff here, man. The 2 leads here, they're in their 20s, 30s, whatever, but they play the middle school versions of their characters here, but with all other 12 and 13-year-olds. Everyone else is 12, 13. They're still, late 20s, but they're playing it, and they're so funny. They're so great here. The chemistry between these 2 is friends, undying friends, and it's reminding me of the movie 8th Grade from a couple years ago, because there is some heartfelt stuff about just feeling like a loner or ugly and stupid and all that stuff thrown in there here. It's one of those shows that very subtly can hit you hard after being supremely funny for the first 15, 20 minutes and then hit you with some stuff towards the end. Divorce, race stuff even a little bit here, so here and there, growing up, figuring that out. So yeah, really, really smartly done show. Short season. 10 episodes, I believe, so you can get through pretty quickly here. I was kind of flip-flopping between this and Woke was the 2 I was kind of flip-flopping between. I finished that up as well, also recommended. So on Hulu. Yeah, check it out on Hulu.
Yeah. The show that I'm going to bring up is a show it's probably more than one season 8, but this is what Netflix has called it, season 8. But it's the Great British Baking Show. Yes, don your aprons and get your rolling pins out, and let's start baking. It's a great bake-off, and this is a new season, new hosts. You're still going to have Paul Hollywood, and you're going to still have Prue as well, and then you're going to, I wish I could remember his name. He was in Little Britain. He's the new host, along with Liam as well. So I hope that was his name. But anyway, but yeah, it's just such a grand show. They start off by saying this is actually filmed for Netflix through Love for Channel 4 and BBC, and not the BBC, but in Britain, in which they actually are now on a 1 episode per week schedule with this, because they see it in Britain and then we see it here in the States, and so that's a lovely thing to see. So we're not far behind our cousins over there in Britain in finding out who the champion will be. This year, they're all in quarantine. They've done a little bubble, a village bubble, a village bubble for the contestants and for the host themselves, and basically they just have great challenges. It's probably the best, I think, reality competition television that you'll see, because everyone's so damn polite and everyone wants to see you succeed, and they cry when people leave. And if you have not seen it, it doesn't matter where you start. You can start now, or you can start in the earlier episodes, the classic editions they have as well on Netflix. Go ahead, watch it. Netflix, I thank you for keeping this up. Again, the Great British Bake Off, it's just fun, and it's just I learned so much as well. I actually do this at home, by the way. I actually do bake things that I see on that show, because I was like, oh, I've always wanted to try that. So the one thing I have yet to try is a bagel. So, when I get there, I'll invite you over and we'll have bagels or something together. But yeah, I've not tried it yet, but they did have that one time, a bagel. So, but yeah, watch them. Love it. Love it. I love the great competition. And again, like I said, camaraderie, and they feel good. Also, I have a few notes for next week. Next week, I'm going to watch, I have reviews here of Utopia off of Amazon. That's what the new Rainn Wilson and John Cusack show. Also, Emily in Paris is going to be on Netflix. It starts October 2nd as well. And that's basically from the creators. If you like Sex in the City, you'll like this one. And it is supposed to be about a young American girl who finds her dream job in Paris, and it's actually filmed on location in Paris. So it'll be interesting. And it has a little bit of comedy feel to it.
I join you in the Utopia watching. That's on definitely a list of something that I'm interested in. So I might dive into that. As I said, I will have the review for Charlie Kaufman's new I'm Thinking of Ending Things on Netflix. And let me just say a preview for that review. So I'll save the rest for next week.
And I'll be joining you with that review because I have it on my list to watch this week.
Check it out. If you can, please, in the next week, because I would love to have a back and forth and hear your opinion on it as well. It's definitely a movie I want to hear other opinions on. I won't say that's good or bad. I just want to hear what another human being has to say about it.
I can't wait.
Let me bring you back. Let's just set the stage here for you. The world is in trouble. It needs something good. So God says, I'll give you Goodfellas and Jordan Owens. The year is 1990. We're coming off of the we're no longer die-harding. We have some Batmans going, so things are going good. And let's continue it with the top 10 films, our favorite films of the year 1990. Any thoughts, and first of all, and memories of the year 1990, Dutch?
1990. I believe I was about to go, a young Dutch was about to go into, I believe, high school and go into that. So, yes, that's all I remember. A young Dutch going into high school, fearful of his life, thinking, dear God, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. But guess what? I made it. So there you go. There you go. Look at that, King Jordan. So tell me, what do you have for your honorable mentions in your number 10, or do you want me to go first? I'm not sure how we're doing this.
Start off. You go, buddy.
Okay, my honorable mentions this for 1990 films is our Narrow Margin, Total Recall, Misery, Back to the Future 3, and I believe, if I could read this, Quickly Down Under with Tom Selleck. Those are my honorable mentions. And my number 10, do I have a tumor? No, I don't have a tumor, but that's Kindergarten Cop. Arnold Schwarzenegger's, I think it was his first foray into a comedy. And boy, what a good comedy it was. I enjoyed it a lot. It's kind of like where you find Vin Diesel, and you had Mr. Nanny, and you had all these other people doing the exact same thing. That's the template, man. He started the template for action heroes to be in comedy, and good for Arnold for breaking ground in this, to me, because we've seen what Sly Stallone could do with Oscar or Stop My Mom Will Shoot. And you would want my mom to shoot you because that's how bad that film was. But and Oscar was awful as well. But Arnold, can show that he is a good action star and a comedic star. Kindergarten Cop is my number 10.
Very good, interesting list so far of your honorable mentions. There's one I'll be saving and talking about later. There's one I'm about to mention here as an honorable mention in a second. And at least two of those, what's Down Under, and what was that first one you said?
Narrow Margin. It's a Gene Hackman thriller. If you've not seen it, he's like, I believe he's a lawyer, and he's trying to help his client. And I just can't remember. I remember there's a good a train scene. That's all I remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
so my honorable mentions here is My Blue Heaven, Die Hard 2, Back to the Future 3, I agree on that, and then Tremors and Mr. Destiny with Belushi. I like that film. My number 10 here, speaking of agreeing, no lie, I don't know if we've done this a lot, but it's Kindergarten Cop, buddy. I'm right there with you. It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. Probably it might actually be the most viewed movie of this list. It was definitely a big repeated VHS watch in the house here. Just enjoyed the tale here, man. Like you said, this shows a little bit of a softer side, but still a badass side here, man. When he sees the one kid might be getting abused and he beats the shit out of the father, and the great the school being on fire towards the end, great climatic end scene as well here, good setup build, and there's a sequel with Dolph Lundgren and Bill Bellamy, if you don't know.
Dear God, really?
It's a true thing, but I haven't seen that, but I have seen this great movie. Kindergarten Cop comes in at number 10.
My number 9. It was a stacked cast. Let me tell you this. From 1990, stacked cast, you had Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Bacon. Who am I missing in this cast? I mean, those are just 3. Those are 3, but I know there were some others in this stat cast, and it's called Flatliners. Not the crappy remake that they made with Ellen Page and company, but this one was, to me, a chilling film. When it came out, it was something that I've never thought of. It still has the same premise. They put you to death, they bring you to life, and they want to know what you saw, and they think they're doctors. They're just trying to play the game, and they just want to know what's on the other side of life. They don't like what they see as well, because they have the day terrors and crazy terrors, and oh my God, it was so creepy. If you don't see right now, but I have I have goosebumps just thinking about some of the scenes in that film, and it is, to me, a good film. It may not have been a great reviewed film from its time, but I enjoyed it. It was a great thriller, and it had an action-packed cast. You couldn't ask for anything more back in the 90s.
I don't see a huge cast. You got William Baldwin, Oliver Platt, Kimberly Scott, Hope Davis, amongst others. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good cast for the 90s, man. I'll be honest.
Well, that is, unfortunately, this is a sentence that you probably won't be surprised by, but you still get mad by. I've only seen the bad remake with Ellen Page. I've never seen this one, so I can't agree.
It's out there to be seen for you one day. You'll be treated, and you'll be saying, "Why did I even watch the other?"
Well, no, because I like watching current things. That's why I've seen the other one. But yeah, it's not that good. My number 9 here. I actually I had this T-shirt. I meant to put it on, but I didn't. Edward Scissorhands comes in at number 9 here. Johnny Depp, Tim Burton here. Just a funky but fun and weirdly relatable story here from Tim Burton here. This is one of the reasons why he's become such a filmmaker to watch, even though some of his more recent films, not always a hit in my opinion here. He's still somebody, because of early films like this, you're still intrigued, at least at the get-go, as to what he's doing, because he can somehow craft these out there stories and then somehow ground them as well to a degree here. So great performance by Depp. Edward Scissorhands comes in at number 9.
Yeah, we'll probably be talking about that a little later, but let us continue my love for Kevin Bacon. Yes, Kevin Bacon, you talked about it in your honorable mentions, but it's so much fun. This Reba McEntire, Michael Gross, Finn Carter, Fred Ward. Oh my God, it's Tremors. Yes, it was a low-budget B movie that somehow spawned into something great. Plus, beyond, I love this film. It's not as high as it would be on any other, if we're doing like a thriller list or a sci-fi list, it might, for that type of genre or something. I don't know what it would be classified as, because it's a comedy / thriller / horror.
You call it a thriller, but I guess I don't know.
But it's kind of thrilling. But yeah, the reason why I have such love for this, not just because I love the characters that are played in there, especially the Reba McEntire, because we've talked about those 2 characters, Michael Gross and Reba McEntire, off camera. But my mom and I have loved this film together. We've watched it, and it's, to me, that's what I have warm feelings about it for as well, because she loves these type of films. And I remember sitting there, and we were both watching this film, and just going, why are they doing that? Why are they getting on that tractor? Why are they, that type of stuff, or, oh, I hope he doesn't get his, he doesn't fall off that rock. But yeah, so Tremors is my number 8, and it's to me, that's why I have a big smile on my face when I talk about it, because it's just something that I like to do, and my mom was a part of it. So yeah, Tremors is my number 8.
Very nice here. Very nice. Like I said, it was up there for me too. My number 8 coming in. It's definitely nostalgic. Something that I watched a lot as a kid. It's the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action film. Donatello, Michelangelo, and the gang here. It's just, I don't know, man. I went into it. I love all three. Even the third one, it was a big repeated watch for me as a kid here. Elias Cotes, of course, popping in. I just enjoyed it, man. It's got that just fun sense of humor, some action. I don't know, turtles fighting somehow still. It won my heart over as a kid here. So there's just no way I couldn't have it in this list here. TMNT.
Yes, mine. You just mentioned my next one. I think it's your number 9, but Edward Scissorhands is number 7 on my list. Again, Tim Burton, a beautiful, loving film about a guy who's just misunderstood because he has scissors for hands. Vincent Price, in one of his last performances, is just it just showed an unbelievable side. Tim Burton grabbed an actor that was always playing in B films, and to me projected Vincent Price to a higher level in this movie. I believe Winona Ryder was in it as well, and it's just the love that you can see between the two characters is just unbelievable. And again, it's tragically it's tragic and it's sad and it's happy, as you said. It runs the gamut in this film, and again, I thought it was a vision to watch. Just shot so beautifully, and some scenes. I just love it. Edward Scissorhands, though, is number 7 on my list.
Popping in my 7 is, I said before, I'm going to recall one of your honorable mentions. Total Recall comes in for my number 7 here. I just love the world building here. So many moments here of him being the lady and it's malfunctioning. And let's just say, what's better than 2? 3. Get it?
Yeah.
This is another one that just really grasps my imagination. Get your ass to Mars. Another one that, I mentioned before, funny enough, years later doing a sequel/reboot. This one we had the big budgeted remake with Colin Farrell several years later here, which also is not bad, watchable. So yeah, Total Recall just always captured my imagination from the get-go. It's the reason why Arnold has made his second appearance now in my top 10 for 1990.
Well, let me tell you a little story, buddy. Are you afraid of spiders? Spiders scare me sometimes, especially when they come out of nowhere, especially like these that came out of nowhere. And this has Jeff Daniels and John Goodman as the pest control dude, and that is Arachnophobia. By gosh, there was the movie that my dad couldn't watch on TV because he is deathly afraid of spiders, but he never watched it. He left the room, which let us kids and my mom enjoy it. So he didn't hear a bellyache whenever he saw spiders fall down from every which way. It is, to me, a very delightful film. Scary, don't get me wrong, because spiders do still scare me. I was on a boat just recently, and one just dropped on me. I almost fell overboard because it was that, it just scares you that badly, and they're on you. You don't know what to do. But John Goodman's character, plays the pest control guy who's like, oh, I'll take care of these guys. And he starts shooting them up like he's a cowboy. And then, well, we'll just say nothing good happens when you start killing off the babies. So, yeah, I thought it was a good, fun film. Jeff Daniels, again, a quirky guy. I think there was a professor, I can't remember his name, was in it as well, trying to help him out, trying to figure out what kind of spiders they were. They're from Africa. But yeah, it was a good show. I still love it. Arachnophobia is my number 6.
Very nice. It's always been on my, I need to get around to someday list, Arachnophobia. Because I think I had family members that liked it as well. You better.
All I can say is you better hurry before they remake this movie.
just a little bit of a side note here, by the way. I was kind of curious because I was like, oh, let me look up some dates real quick. Uh, August 10th, which is my birthday. So just on the day I was born, you could have gone to the theater because looks like it was like a Friday. You could have seen The Two Jakes had just been released with Jack Nicholson. You could have
I
seen
was too young.
You could have seen Air America with Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr. And
I
now
did.
I'm bumping this way up the list of things I need to see. I have to see Flatliners now because it came out on my birthday.
There you go. I saw both Air America and Flatliners on your not around your birthday. So that's when I saw those two.
So now that I know that Flatliners, I'm telling you, ask me in a couple months. I bet you I'll see it because I'm going to bump that up because now I'm just a lot more interested.
And I want you to review it on the show because I do need to know how you feel about it.
I'm going to review 1990s Flatliners.
Yes.
All right. Before we review that one, let's review my number 6 here in 1990. Speaking of a film that has been remade, and I'm sure any day now we'll get another remake. It's Lord of the Flies here. Love the book. It's one of the rare times I can actually nerd up and say, "Oh, the book was better," which it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the best version, I think, of that tale here, but it's still a very gripping tale that I remember got me as a kid here. I think you could even modernize it a little bit if you want to do a remake or keep it in this time frame here. But just real telling of just that age and the mind frame and what would happen when you just leave man to man. So yeah, Lord of the Flies for me comes in number 6. Sometimes I mean to rewatch too because it's a really gripping tale if you've never read the book or seen any of the films.
I didn't know about this until years later, but I did see it probably in '92. Now, I did see it, so it's still classic. I'm just saying it's '92. I saw it, and it took me a little bit of a time because it was one of those Sony classics or Merchant Ivory films. You know what I'm talking about? Those movies that, oh my God, this sounds going to be rough. And this was the first time I was ever in to Joel and Ethan Coen as well. Albert Finney's in this. John Turturro's in it. Gabriel Byrne's in it. We know it's called Miller's Crossing. It is a prohibition, deal in which I cannot remember which character it is, but he is basically becomes a double agent in the world of Gangsterland, and it's just a poetically done film. I mean, it's just good. So if you, and I believe it might have won or been nominated for something as well. But Miller's Crossing is my number 7. I'm sorry, my number 5. Number 5. Prohibition era gangster film. Miller's Crossing, number 5.
This is another one I have not seen before. Miller's Crossing. I've heard good things about it. Also, I guess I wasn't 100% listening very well because at first I thought you were saying this was also for Lord of the Flies, and I was like, dude, none of those people are in Lord of the Flies.
No.
What are you talking about? And then I always
They were all grown up. This is the sequel to Lord of the Flies.
My number 5 here, I think you actually might have asked to do a top 10 of his movies, and I don't think I quite had 10, but I do have this film, Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner. Evidently, I'm laughing at my Kevin Costner, but I have seen this one. It's been a while, though. I will admit it's definitely been a while, so I need to do a bit of a remake here, but I believe one of his directorial films as well that he directed.
Yeah, so it was a directorial debut, I believe. One of his, he took that. Remember, he took this one, and then he went Postman, and then he did Waterworld or something. I don't know. It was like a string of 4-hour movies that he decided to put together. Because it's a long movie.
Yeah, it's definitely long. Probably one of the reasons I haven't visited it in a while is because you got to definitely sit down and get ready for it, though. But obviously, worth it though here. Very, very good tale here. Probably, I think personally, I'm not the biggest even Costner fan when it comes to acting, but he's definitely right for this role, and he's very good in this. You're right. It's Dances with Wolves. He was the assistant director for Waterworld, and then directed The Postman, and then Open Range in 2003, or his 4 films.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's when they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And then I want to look it up real quick. Graham Greene, fantastic in this as well. Always a good actor, but Graham Greene in this. So that's my number 5. What you got for number 4?
My number 4, I'm staying with the gangster era. Don't make me take you to the sugarcane fields, my friend. Because, or am I getting them all mixed up? I can't remember which ones, but I remember Goodfellas, with Ray Liotta, of course, and Joe Pesci, who we see behind you. But yeah, is that where they take him into? Is it that's the one they take him into the sugarcane fields and beat the hell out of Joe Pesci? Am I not mistaken, or is that Casino? I get them both mixed up sometimes.
That might be Casino.
It could be Casino. Oh, it probably is Casino. Yes, but the Ray Liotta where he's high in his house and they're circling the cops. The plane. The things are circling around him, just like that crown is circling around you. To me, it's just a good film. Again, this is a film in which Scorsese, he delves in what he knows and he takes it. But again, like I said, though, Goodfellas and Casino, I kind of mix them up a little bit. But I do remember though Ray Liotta playing a fantastic, paranoid drug addict, in this at all times. And who was his wife in that film? Because she was annoying. I don't remember. But anyway, number 4. I know I don't get. I should know more about. Because I don't want to keep mixing them all up in my head. But Goodfellas is number 4.
Lorraine Bracco plays Henry Hill's wife, Karen. And yes, the sugarcane farm is Casino.
Okay, see, I got them all confused. Joe Pesci, you'd want to take him out to the sugar farm every time and beat him down. But they took him to the desert.
The Irishman, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Coming into my number 4, if you know me from this show, and if you saw this on the list of films from 1990, you should know I was going to talk about it. I've talked about it before, oddly enough, several times. It's Jacob's Ladder here. This film, not the new one I'd rather watch Kindergarten Cop 2 several times before I have to see that movie again. But the first one, Tim Robbins here, just a great nightmare fuel, just great, wondering what's real, what's not, interesting story, great ending that matches the beginning and the setup here, practical effects, which I'm always very cool with here. Just everything about this, man. It's another film that I want to rewatch because I haven't seen it in a little bit, and just especially that first viewing will really, I think, kind of get you and grasp you. So Jacob's Ladder, always a movie that I hype up.
We're going to have to get my mom and you together because she loves Jacob's Ladder. It's on her top 5 list of all time. She's like, she sits back and she's like, I go, Mom, what's your favorite movie? Jacob's Ladder is one of my favorite ones. Also Barbara Streisand and Nuts and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, wow. But yeah, she loves that Jacob's Ladder, brother. My number 3 is a sequel. And it's Gremlins 2: The New Batch. I love this sequel. Is kind of better than the first. I like it because it kind of makes fun of itself, and all the other parts about it. It's a very big tongue-in-cheek comedy. You still have your Gizmo and you still have your Stripe, but they're more educated this time, and they're smart, and they're clever, and they take over this company. And it's just a good, clean, just a lot of double entendres here and there. But yeah, it was just good. I don't know how you could say the first one could be beat, but it could be. And as Gremlins 2, the New Batch. I know they're making a remake of Gremlins somewhere down the line. I heard it was in pre-production somewhere, or pre-production, but I just don't think it'll ever match the practical effects and things like that they have back then. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to use the same practical. I don't think you can use CGI as good. But yeah, I just found it fascinating. Gremlins 2: The New Batch is my number 3.
Go with my number 3. It's right to my, I don't know, left or right. It's Home Alone. Come on, how could you? This better be in your list.
Wasn't that number 2 though? Was it number 2 or was it the number 1?
We're at 3. I'm at 3.
No, I'm talking about Home Alone 1, or is it Home Alone 2?
Home Alone 1.
Oh, okay. I don't know when the Home Alone 2 came out, so I have no clue. I was just curious. Don't make me upset. I'm sorry.
This is the first one here, the OG time of when Macaulay Culkin gets left alone His whole family goes on vacation, and there's why is there so many kids? I need to rewatch this one too. I guess why is there so many kids at the tracking people?
They didn't have birth control or something. That's what I'm gonna think. There's so many kids. Oh, I think they're visiting. I don't know. There was a lot of kids, wasn't there? There's like 5 or 6.
I don't know. There's a bunch. That's why they lose track. Because like the one neighbor boy comes in for a second to visit, and they think it's him.
Yeah.
And,
92 is whenever Home Alone 2 came out. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to tell you. So,
my bad.
Sticking with this here, I'm gonna get Joe Pesci. I guess is in my list a couple of times here as well. I'm gonna be talking about that other film a little bit. Him and why am I blanking? Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, yeah.
And of course, there's the Wet Bandits, and I love the creep. Like as a kid too, man. As a kid, those scenes both with like the furnace beneath that like scares him, and then like even like the neighbor next door that scares him. Like it scared me, man. And it works when you're a kid. Those scenes really play. If you had sent me to a basement with a furnace, I would have flipped the F out at that age. So. But everything here, just the humor works, the hard works here. It's also too, I think, just really grasps you as a kid because you're like, oh, what if I was alone and keep the change, you filthy animal. So why that pizza boy never called the cops, I don't know. But
he kept the change. That's why.
He comes at number 3. Better be a lot of change if you're gonna shoot at me.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? Home Alone has been mentioned numerous times, 100 times probably on this, but it's never beat my number 2 mention, and that is Joe versus the Volcano. Yes, number 2. It should be number 1, but there was another film that beats it. But Joe versus the Volcano, probably one of my very all-time favorites. If you're a big fan of the show, you will know that Joe versus the Volcano is the only one movie that I swear everyone should see at least 10 times. And, it has a young Meg Ryan, a young Tom Hanks. When they first get together and film and make history, yes, Joe versus the Volcano, Abe Vigoda. You can't beat it, my friends. So, yes, Joe versus the Volcano, about a man who thinks he's going to be dead. And, well, I'm not going to ruin it for you because you got to go watch it like I have over 20 times. Yes, at least 20 times that I've seen this movie. But, yes, Joe versus the Volcano, my number 2. Jordan, what do you have for your number 2?
Sorry. Okay, I'm back. I was on the roll trying to skip town. Number 2 comes in with a Robert De Niro, Robin Williams film, Awakenings. This is something I saw only a handful of years ago. And yeah, I just think this is a great acting performances here by Williams, and then De Niro is able to show multiple levels here. This thing will just touch you. It'll break your heart. Look in the background for Vin Diesel playing a no lines or nurse or guard rather. He's in this in the background if you look. So yeah, Awakenings is something that I think is definitely well worth checking out.
Yeah, it's about the. I know it's based loosely. I think it's based on a true story about encephalitis, and Robert De Niro is the patient. And Robin Williams is the doctor, and he comes out of it briefly, out of this like comatose catatonic state.
More or less, I think they cured it. They tested on a mouse or something, and it helps the mouse, and they think they got it, but then they start seeing that the mouse is deteriorating, so they know. So like, there's also that great moment too of De Niro knowing. Yep. I'm going to lose it now. Like I have it, and he knows he's going to lose it too, which is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's I do like that. That's one of the very rare Robin Williams performances, along with Robert De Niro, that I really will say is a very good film. Besides The World According to Garp is my first all-time favorite of Robin Williams. But my number 1 is the man who's over your right shoulder, my friend. He's looking right at you. Oh. Mask in tow. Liam Neeson himself. Darkman. Yes, Darkman. It holds up to this day. I've watched it, I think, a couple times since. I think the most recent I watched was last year, and it's just unbelievably good. Liam Neeson, he could play this again if he wanted to. He could just not reboot, but just keep a sequel. Yeah, they had sequels, but not as good as the first. And I enjoyed this a lot. I can't remember who directed. I think it was Raimi who directed this.
Yeah.
Who directed Spider-Man as well. And this is really one of the first comic book films that came out that no one really understood that it was a comic book film. They really, unless you knew. But I enjoyed the performances had by all. The villains kind of, meh. But I think if you want to retread any movies that are out there, you're going to retread Blade. Let's retread Darkman and find somebody, maybe Tom Hardy, be fantastic as the Darkman himself. I enjoyed this one. That's why it's number one. It was just a fun romp, and I still found it myself entertained to this day. Besides Joe versus the Volcano, this is another one that you could say is well worth the watch.
Oh, very good, very good here. I hate to say it, Dutch. It's even though I got that picture, it's a little bit of a twist and a swerve because it's in my honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. It might have been the last honorable mentions that didn't quite make the honorable mentions here because I enjoy it. It does hold up. It is a fun film to still even check out. My number one though here is Framed. It's Goodfellas, man. This is Scorsese making a solid, not 4-hour movie, but a solid 3-hour one. De Niro, Liotta, Pesci here. Several other quick performances here. Sam Jackson gets murdered very quickly. Michael Imperioli gets murdered very quickly. Other people get murdered very quickly. But it zips, it zaps. Like you said, Liotta, I don't know if he's ever been better, ever had a better script to work with here. As Henry Hill, he'll go down being known as being a good fella now because of it. Just Goodfellas here from the directing to the performances here. It's number one for me for the year 1990.
There we go. So let us recap what we had. My number 10, Kindergarten Cop. Number 9, Flatliners. Number 8, Trimmers. Number 7, Edward Scissorhand. Number 6, we are going to go with Arachnophobia because that's what we did. Number 5, Miller's Crossing. Number 4, Goodfellas. Number 3, Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Number 2, Joe versus the Volcano. And number 1, Darkman.
JPO Jordan Personas' top 10 of the year 1990. Number 10, Kindergarten Cop. 9, Edward Scissorhands. 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 7, Total Recall. 6, Lord of the Flies. 5, Dances with Wolves. 4, Jacob's Ladder. 3, Home Alone. 2, Awakenings. And number 1 is Goodfellas. Something else that I think is kind of interesting. I know you had a sequel, which obviously I'm not going to knock at all. I wonder if this is one of the last years that I probably don't have a sequel on here. 1990. Me personally, not a single sequel in the top 10.
Yeah, I know. You saved that for the honorable mentions, which is fine. I didn't.
Interesting, because I wonder if 91 or if any other years won't have a single sequel. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know, but sequels are very hard to come by, and to top. Like I said, Gremlins 2 was good because it just made fun of itself, and it was a fun satirical look at a lot of other things. Huh?
Hulk Hogan's in it, so come on.
Oh, was he? I don't even remember. I remember him in that.
In the middle of the movie, he's watching the movie. And then, remember, come on, man. It's a crazy awesome cameo.
I don't remember. Maybe I just don't remember that scene. I don't know. I was never a Hulk Hogan fan, so some things don't ever stick.
Oh, but you're a wrestling fan. That's just so stick.
I was never a Hulk Hogan fan for wrestling. I apologize for the world, okay? Buddy, we did our top 10, but I need to know something, man. I need to know some news, and I need to know some notes. I need to get it down. You got the hat that gives me the detective work that you put through on this. I need to know it, man. What do you got for me, Dick Jordan?
You can call me Scoops McGee here, and I got plenty of news for you. See, plenty of news for you in the world of Hollywood. Hey, you like John Cena? Well, guess what? You can see this kind of news. John Cena to lead his own HBO Max series. based on the Suicide Squad character Peacemaker. We just in the last month got a little bit of a taste of this character here, and it seems like James Gunn's, everyone's enjoying it. So we're getting an HBO Max series. James Gunn's directing, I believe, several of the episodes. He's helping produce and write as well. So I'm down for it, man. Big John Cena fan. Just like The Rock, ever since he's coming to Hollywood here, he's chosen some pretty funny roles. He's been very funny. Looks like he's going to be great as Peacemaker. I kind of view this as almost a little bit of a slightly lighter R-rated, like The Boys here. Maybe not as dark, but still has that kind of R-rated twist on it here. So I'm looking forward to it. Something that won't be R-rated, but will still be fun here. Samuel Jackson has also been tapped to possibly lead the Nick Fury series for Disney Plus. I'm down for this, but I'd like to hear your opinion, Dutch. I also don't know, is this the kind of character you feel should just be like a kind of a co-star? Like, that's kind of my fear, but I'm still down, obviously, to give it a shot.
Nick Fury, he carried his own comic for years. So, yeah, you can have Nick Fury. You can have the quest of Nick Fury, and he has always different side projects. He doesn't have to always be entailed with that. He just has S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury. So they've already canceled the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so they can still recycle some of that cast. Hopefully Colby Smuthers will come over and be a part of it as well, now that she's free. Now she's got free from Boomtown. And, come on over and join Samuel Jackson. And it'll be a fun time because I love her character. I want to see more for her character as well.
I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but yeah, I don't know if I want to see her do other stuff too. So, but we can see. Disney has tapped Yara Shahidi from Blackish as Tinkerbell in the live-action Peter Pan movie. We got lots of replacements going on here, Dust. We talked a little bit about before about voice actors getting replaced for the correct actor here, Arif.
Yeah. We'll just say the right race, because that's what they're just trying to make the color lines not so blurred anymore.
Arif Zahir has replaced Mike Henry as Cleveland Brown on Family Guy. Henry's has voiced him since season 1, including his own spinoff show. Hank Azaria is no longer Carl on Simpsons, another one that's been around since literally about 30 years now. And of course, Big Mouth has also done some replacements as well coming up here. And in the category of a little too late, maybe in my opinion, The Croods finally has a sequel coming out. The New Age trailer has popped out here. I like The Croods; it's perfectly fine. I thought it had a nice little family dynamic and was cute. You think it's a little too late, or you think people so flock to see a Croods sequel?
I think it would be better for a on-demand release or something like that, but. Unless you're going to put it out next year sometime in the summer, you may get it, but you're right. It's too late for a cruise. I mean, unless you can somehow gin it back up, because it was hot for a hot second, but, after a while you kind of forget all about them. It's sad that they have Hotel Transylvania 4, and I'm more hyped up about that one than I am the Croods. So go figure.
I don't know if I'm more hyped up for Fort Transylvania, but it does show that, like, they sped that along pretty quickly, because I just feel like anyone
absolutely
at that point is past that point. I don't see there's any kids that are like, oh, thank God. Like, now they're probably 18 having kids. The Boys, speaking of things that are hot, The Boys now is currently having a spinoff in the works. They're looking at, as well as season 3, to be doing a spinoff about the only college in America for young adult superheroes. So next year or so, we might be seeing two boys. It's just like they're going hard. It's like Walking Dead went hard on AMC. Amazon's going hard with The Boys. Yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Henry Cavill has said he is not participating in Zack Snyder's Justice League reshoot. So anything Zack Snyder is doing, he's gonna have to do it without Superman, or figure out a way to convince him or do something else.
He's also don't forget he's Zack Snyder also has asked Ryan Reynolds to come and film some scenes for this new up and coming catastrophe that's going to happen on HBO Max next year. So yeah, what else you got for me on that?
My hat's not right.
No.
Pretty Little Liars
Go ahead.
Original Sin reboot series has been ordered at HBO Max. If you're a Pretty Little Liars fan, looks like it might be coming back here. Alan Arkin has exited the Kaminsky Method before its final season, so he will not be back for the final season of that show. You got anything, Dutch, before I wrap it up as far as news and notables?
Oh, there are so many news and notes that I just fell apart. James Cameron says Avatar 2 has finished 100% filming, and Avatar 3 is 95% close to being done. Also, Barat 2 is in the works, is coming out, they say. And some things, there's Borat. I'm sorry, I apologize. But yeah, Barat is coming out, and that's coming, and they say that either Trump, Epstein, remember Jeffrey Epstein, and Giuliani were some of the targets possibly. We don't, they don't really know who the targets were in this one. Also, God, what else we have? The Witcher. Netflix has said that Witcher season 2 will be out early 2021. They're right now filming season 2. So that's going to be that. I can't wait for The Witcher. I don't know where you are with that series, but I am in love with. Yeah, I am in definite love with The Witcher. I always will toss a coin to my Witcher. And also, I think the other news that I had, I just got to find it because I just lost it. I would like to say congratulations to Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel for having a secret baby. So congratulations to them. So there you go. See, I come up with some stuff on occasion. So there you go. There's yeah, they kept it a secret. No one knew. They thought she would be pregnant, but they couldn't tell because she never showed up out of public because of the quarantine. So there you go.
JT told me personally, but I promised him I wouldn't spoil it. So,
or he said your friendship would be bye, 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 right?
yeah.
So anything else we have for me, buddy?
Yeah, let's talk about some Saturday Night Live news coming out of the pipe here. SNL will be returning next week, October the 3rd, for its new season here. Chris Rock is the opening guest host, so that should be pretty fun here. Also, some recurring guest stars have been announced. Jim Carrey is replacing Jason Sudeikis as Joe Biden, so expect him to pop up several times, most likely. Alec Baldwin will be returning as Trump, and Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris. So you'll be seeing those sprinkled out probably in the opening throughout, if not almost every week, just about. It's from what they've been doing recently. 3 new featured players as well. We're seeing 3 new faces popping up on our screens. And they are filming in front of an audience. It is limited in-studio audience, though. So glad to see SNL and, like you said, The Witcher, and we're at least trying to get to the point where we can figure out this new world of how to film and do things as good as possible here. If you watch wrestling, even they're figuring things out when people have to call out, and it's just kind of something we have to deal with now. So I'm just glad to see that something like SNL can still continue, because a few months ago it looked like some things may never return. So good to see that they're figuring it out some way. So.
I got one more note. I know you've been wanting to watch this remake for months from Blumhouse called The Craft. Remember the movie The Craft, the original one? Well, that one is actually getting re-released over to VOD exclusively on Amazon Prime. So there you go. But it's only VOD. You got to buy it still. There you go, The Craft. It's about witches, teenage witches. Everyone loves teenage witches, don't they?
I never once said I wanted to see it, but okay.
Just segue into it. Just tip your head and say you're correct, Judge. No, I'm messing with you.
Okay.
So
lying segue. Okay.
Oh man, and they keep giving M. Night Shyamalan movies. Anyway, anything else for us? Do you want to give us anything good other than what you've been giving us? You've been giving us great news, great segment. But any other good news that you want to give us?
I'm actually the father of Jessica Biel's baby. No, I got nothing, man. It's good seeing you, good talking to you. We just came off a road trip ourselves. I've seen a lot of you recently. I need a break.
Yeah.
Wait a couple days.
we're gonna go on a break, but you want to go meet you want to go to the theater on Wednesday? We'll watch David Copperfield or something. Or are you working?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll discuss off air.
No one's at the theater, so I think we're pretty safe right now. This is why we got to keep going, because ain't nobody there. So, but no, I am very happy. Yeah, we had a great road trip. We got to do some stuff, and it was a pleasure to be with you this weekend. And so thank you guys for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure to ramble for you no matter what, and you listen to us. And if you like, we'll listen to you. Comment below on the screen down below if you ever need to comment this video, and we'll get back with your answer as soon as possible, because Jordan likes to answer people. So don't he likes to answer people. He's lonely. So if you
that way, man, I was He's only looking for comments. All right, thanks.
no, he's not. But if you have a sister,
if you want to be my co-host, comment below. I'm taking applications.
Oh, why I just wouldn't leave, I just don't know. Anyway, I do appreciate it again, Jordan. Thank you. As always, you're always fine and fun to play with, and you're great with a good sense of humor. Thank you very much for putting up with my shit. So
Anytime, I enjoy it, and same to you for putting up with mine. We love, we hate, but at the end of the day, we always end it with love.
Absolutely. And if you want to listen to a podcast, what was it? I'm on the air. Oh no, that's a totally different guest. Let's not talk about that one then, I guess. Am I on the air? Is that the name of our new podcast? Oh no, it's not. What? But no, I'm just messing. I'm just funning with Don. I'm just funning with Don Mega. So yes, check him out too. Why not?
On the air, the Jim Dandy podcast coming soon.
Yes, the Jim Dandy podcast coming through, and I can't wait for it to happen.
The Jim Dandy experience.
Yeah, I can't wait. So anyway, thank you guys. Love you all. Jordan, just walk us out here, buddy, as I drink my drink.
You were there, so love you all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, the jazz here on the YouTubes. For Dutch, for JPO, thank you. Have fun. Be safe. Love you. Bye.